Hey everybody, it's me. Friday, March 3rd, 1st. My head hurts. Whatever, I'm not gonna do like a captain's vlog kind of thing. Okay, for those who were on stream tonight, we finished up Secret of Mana. And you know me, when I beat a game, I generally like to do my thoughts on the game. And, you know, more clear-headed than I did in the streams, obviously. Because sometimes the streams aren't long enough, because I usually stop at the end of the credits, just to give you guys a little rundown how this works. I'm very rushed and mostly doing stuff blind, really. So, Secret of Mana, the remake, not the original, sadly. There's not really a lot to talk about when it comes to Secret of Mana that hasn't been gushed about by other gamers. Now, for those who don't know, the game's 24 years old at this point, and if you watch this like a couple years down the line, it'll be X amount years added to this video. I don't know how to feel about it, honestly. I really did like the concept of Secret of Mana when I played it way back on the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, I got it way back then. Now, I got my Wii roughly around the same time Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out, and that's what... Actually, no, Galaxy, I think. So it's like, what, 2007 or so? Yeah, so... I didn't really feel attached to Secret of Mana like some people do, because I definitely have heard stories of like, oh, it's kind of like it instantly draws you in. Not the case for me. I did like the concept of starting off as like a lowly bunchkin kind of guy, and you gotta like, well, you mess up real bad, you get kicked out of the village, which, you know, you do mess up in that game, and not just because you understand certain things, because other things happen. You know, you go on your grand adventure, you know, an adventure you kind of don't expect to have. Jesus. I don't really want to talk about the story too much because a lot of spoils could be said just from a few words, like, you know, sprites, cockatrice, Jabberwocky. Like, I'm just thinking of random things in the game. I'm like, okay, just list off a couple. I'm not going to go into the story too in depth. If you guys want to see that, go to my Let's Play. It's kind of just me babbling about from time to time, but overall I think I did a pretty good job. So yeah, I got it way back in like 07 or something. So I didn't think about it too highly back then, and I still don't think about it too highly now. I know someone's going to say, you know, blasphemy, like you had to have some emotion towards it. I have some emotion, but not the emotion people expect me to have. You know, because I prioritize myself as a retro gamer. Someone who at least knows the general concept of old games. And, you know, on occasion speedruns them. Now, granted, I grew up on the Super Nintendo, the SNES. I didn't own Secret of Mana ever in my life until the Wii. And, I don't know, as a grand RPG, it felt pretty good. It felt pretty expansive. The world map was a very nice touch. But it seemed a little generic for what Square Enix was doing at the time. Because, not in America, but definitely in Japan, Final Fantasy V came out maybe like a year after Secret of Mana, and that game had 2 worlds in it. It was very expansive. It did a lot of great things, but we're also comparing Secret of Mana to Final Fantasy, which is known for its like world building effectively. I'm not gonna say anything wrong about that, but I also actually know, I definitely know it's 2 separate teams who did Secret of Mana and the Final Fantasy games. It's still Square Enix's game though. So, yeah, story-wise, world-wise, it was great. Music-wise, it was lovable. I liked the music in Secret of Mana, the original. I didn't listen to any of the, I should classify this. I didn't listen to any of the remix tracks outside of a certain couple of YouTube videos I saw. I didn't care about the remix tracks of Secret of Mana. I liked the original. I still like the original. So music-wise, the remix don't really cut it for me, honestly. I'll give it another playthrough eventually and listen to the remix music, or remastered music. But it just doesn't stick with me as well as the original. Let's see, what else was there? Already said the story, already said the world, and we went to music. Gameplay, I guess. Gameplay was fine. It felt very fluent. It still felt like the original in some ways. But it felt like it was a bit slower. Not as in like the ATV bar, because that's a thing in Secret of Mana. It didn't feel slower in that regard. It felt slower as in like it took more time to load an animation of you stabbing something than it should have just been a quick little like done. Secret of Mana was great in its own merits. I can't really judge it because I'm not a fan of it, and definitely you guys know that I've tried to play the other Mana game, which to my knowledge is only Legend of Mana for the PS1. So I don't know the story as well as some people think I do, and I definitely want to learn about the story, but you know, I don't think the original Mana game was ever released in North America or anywhere outside of Japan for that fact. So it's kind of hard to say, like, if I would like the original. Actually, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong for those who are veterans to the series. Isn't Illusion of Gaia the first Mana game? I believe so. I don't know. I'll look into it more on my end. And I should have done that to begin with, but that doesn't matter. I'll definitely like watch a Let's Play if I can't get a copy of the first Mana game. And hopefully it's selling in English. But I believe the Mana series is still going on. I believe Secret of Mana 2 is the one that Americans refer to the first Mana game. But once again, that's wrong. In fact, it's actually the sequel of the first Mana game. So, Mana, it's Illusion of Gaia, which I'm assuming is the one, Illusion of Gaia, and then Secret of Mana. And then from there, I believe it's Seeking Destiny 3, which, you know, it's going to make no sense to some people, and then Legend of Mana on the PS1. So we go from SNES, SNES, Super Famicom, SNES, was that released in Europe and America? I believe it was released in America. So Secret Destiny, if that's a Mana game, SNES, Famicom, SNES, SNES, and then PS1. That's only a couple years after the fact. So I don't know if there's any more like Mana games out there, and if there's anything of the sort of Mana games, I would love for you guys to tell me. I want to go experience the story, like as a whole. And for those who don't know, I'm actually really interested of the of the Mana series. It's definitely one of the more interesting games plot-wise, because it's kind of like in the sense of Mass Effect, where the first game just sets you up, you get the general bearings, and then from that point onwards, you kind of get the understanding and get like a relationship status between everyone else of like Mass Effect. And for those who don't know, I actually like games that carry on a story and they can't tell it in one go. In the case of like Golden Sun, Lufia, Lunar, I believe, was a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. Technically Grandia, in a way. So, yeah, I love games that can't tell a story in one go. Dot hack, etc. I also just went off a tangent entirely on that one. But, yeah, no, it's fantastic. I actually want to learn the lore, and I'll probably get people to help me, because once again, I have people on Discord, etc., to help me on that. And as sad as it's going to be, I'm going to give it a slightly negative review. I like Secret of Mana, but it doesn't make sense story-wise why you're doing stuff, or it doesn't make sense, like, oh, you find out who your father is like so late in the game, while people in Japan would know who the father is just by playing the first Mana game. So nothing bad against people who love that game. I definitely see why you love that game, but it splits 50-50 for me. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, and I generally don't want to do that, but evaluating on stream and evaluating here, it's only driving the fact home that it, for Americans at the very least, is only a 5 out of 10 for me. You know, if I was Japanese and played the first Mana game, then I would probably have something else different to say. But that's all I can say about it. I hope you guys liked this little rant/review video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or whenever I record or do stream again. Hopefully you guys can make it. I'll see you guys next time.